Let's get started with our first news. Max Holloway is openly embracing the idea of creating another point-down moment in his highly anticipated fight against Dustin Poirier. He knows that if he can deliver something as viral and memorable as his stunning knockout of Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, it might earn him another shot at the lightweight title. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Max didn't hold back about his strategy and expectations. He said 100%. With Dustin, he's a point-down guy too, so I wouldn't be surprised if he started it, if he initiated it. At the end of the day, I mean, you've gotta, if we get to the 5th round with 10 seconds left, I think he might beat me to it and point down first. I'm gonna happily accept that any day of the week. Max understands the power of moments in this sport. He explained, "You and I know we live in a sport where moments are king. If I could go out there and have a UFC 300 moment again, come July 19th, who's to say I'm not right there for an undisputed title shot again? If I can go out there and create a moment, create something close to 300, imagine I go out there and do my thing, and I have a 10-second knockout, I'm right back in there with the title talk." He knows how much these signature moments mean, not just to fans, but to the UFC itself. Holloway is clearly motivated by the idea that all it takes is one spectacular highlight to change the entire conversation around him and put his name at the top of the title contender list. Max also talked about Ilia Topuria's recent performance against Charles Oliveira, showing nothing but respect for both fighters while analyzing what went down. He continued, "I was ecstatic when they announced he was fighting for the undisputed title against who he was fighting with. I have history with both men, so I was like, brother, I've just gotta go out there and do my job. Hopefully here soon we find out where the lay of the land is looking." He admitted he didn't catch the fight live because he was busy training, but made sure to watch it right after. Who didn't see that fight? I wasn't able to watch it live because we were training during that time, but after the session we got to watch it and I was like, damn, it went exactly how I thought. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that to Charles, and I wouldn't be surprised if Charles somehow won by catching him in a submission or hurting him and then submitting him. At the end of the day, he looked very good. He's doing what he's doing, and it's all respect to him. We have history. I go out there, I do some type of moment, you know how this sport goes, and I'm right back in there. Finally, Max didn't shy away from acknowledging his plan to spoil Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. He said it sucks to be the spoiler, but it has to be done. When he's riding off into the sunset, I'm still gonna be here chugging along, trying to get a title shot, or trying to become a double champ and make history. At the end of the day, I've gotta go out there and do my thing. It sucks that it has to be this one, that it has to be Dustin's last one, but that's the way the cards unfold. For Max Holloway, this fight is more than just another bout. It's an opportunity to redefine his legacy, to secure another title shot, and to remind the world why he's one of the sport's most exciting and resilient fighters. Moving on to another news story, Balal Muhammad shared some thoughtful insights about what he would do differently if he had the chance to start his MMA journey all over again. It's one of those questions a lot of fans and young fighters are curious about. If you could rewind time, what would you change? For Balal, the answer is crystal clear. He said that if he had to start MMA all over again, he'd focus primarily on wrestling. He explained in detail, what would I do differently if I had to start MMA all over again? If I had to start MMA all over, I'd go do 2 to 3 years in Dagestan. Forget about it. It was both a joke and a genuine nod to the region's legendary reputation for producing elite grapplers. But then he got more serious. No, I mean for me, I never liked looking back in the past. For a lot of people, they always tell me if I'm starting MMA late, if I'm doing it starting now, what would I do? What would I put my kids in? It's definitely wrestling. Wrestling is the king of the sport. Balal went on to really emphasize why he sees wrestling as so essential. He said it's the hardest discipline that builds discipline, structure, and real strength. You're using your body, you're going one-on-one. There's nobody to blame but yourself. This is something that separates wrestling from other martial arts. It forces accountability. When you step on the mat, it's just you and your opponent. There's no hiding behind teammates, no excuses. He also had some important advice for parents thinking about martial arts training for their kids. He said, so for these young kids out there, parents, put them in wrestling. I think that's the best sport for them. According to Balal, wrestling doesn't just make you physically strong. It teaches mental toughness and the kind of resilience you need to survive in MMA at the highest levels. Balal even reflected on his own experience. I did 2 years of high school wrestling and it's helped me come this far. Even that relatively brief period of formal wrestling training laid the foundation for his success in the cage. He knows firsthand the value of learning wrestling early, of developing that grit and work ethic that it demands. He didn't stop there. Balal also advised that kids should be put into grappling, like jiu-jitsu, rather than immediately diving into striking. He warned against getting kids involved too early in heavy striking where they could be sparring hard, hurting themselves, or even damaging their brains. You don't need to put them in crazy striking where they're going to be sparring early or hurting themselves early or hurting their brains. For Balal, the message is simple but powerful. If you want to give your kids the best possible start in MMA, focus on the fundamentals that really matter. Build discipline, build structure, build strength. And there's no better way to do that than through wrestling. It's a lesson drawn from his own journey, and he's hoping others can learn from it too. In another story, Ray Longo took some time to really break down what makes Ilia Topuria's fighting style so special, and his explanation is something every fight fan should hear. According to Longo, the real beauty in Ilia's approach lies in its simplicity. He isn't trying to be flashy for the cameras or to wow people with unnecessary spins and dramatic angles. Instead, he keeps things clear, direct, and brutally effective. Ray said, "I mean, look man, the beauty is in the simplicity. He's got really great, look, we've been through it before. He knows how to punch in balance. That's a key word, balance. It's not about overwhelming your opponent with volume for the sake of it. It's about being in position at all times, about making sure every shot counts." Ray emphasized that Ilia's combinations are good. They're crisp, well-timed, and purposeful. He described one of Ilia's recent performances in detail. Even what he did to him, he's kinda jabbing him, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's out, he's in. That in and out movement is fundamental, but so many fighters forget it when the heat is on. Ilia doesn't. He stays disciplined. He lures you in, gets you to commit, and then punishes you for it. And you know, like when you're coming in, he's coming in. He just set that up perfectly. Longo also couldn't help but praise Ilia's raw power. He said the kid obviously has bricks in his hands because it's just the way he's winning. He's knocking the crap out of everybody. They're out. It's not easy to consistently finish top-level opponents, but Ilia's doing it. And he's doing it with straightforward, efficient striking. Ray made it clear how impressive that is. "If you look at it, Kenny," he said, "it's nothing fancy. He's not spinning. There's no crazy angles off of punches. It's good, solid takedown defense, which he looked great against Charles. He could keep that fight where he wants it. The more times he does that, the more times that's going to be to his advantage." Ray really drove home how Ilia's game isn't built on trickery, but on mastering the basics and executing them flawlessly. "I just thought it was a thing of beauty, man." Then Longo brought up a moment that really stuck with him. He laughed about it, saying, "It was funny. I'm not criticizing, but just about as Joe Rogan was starting to say, I don't know if his power is going to translate to 155, which we were all kind of curious about." Right at that moment, boom boom, 2 shots. The guy's out. Crazy. The timing of it was just perfect. It was the kind of moment that makes you believe in a fighter's potential at the highest level. Ray finished by saying, "But his power looks like it transfers over. I don't know, he looks good, he's confident. 27 years old, this is insanity." For Longo, Ilia Topuria represents everything exciting about the new generation in MMA. A young, disciplined, powerful striker who understands that simplicity and precision win fights. Michael Chandler recently took a moment to send an incredibly heartfelt message of support to Ben Askren. The emotional video, which Chandler recorded himself, was later posted by Ben on his Instagram. Alongside the video, Ben added a caption that resonated with many people. He wrote, "There are few things in life better than showing a young person they are capable of success. Once you teach them this, you empower them for life." That quote alone speaks volumes about the kind of person Ben Askren is. Someone who believes in building others up. Someone who knows that true greatness is not just about what you accomplish, but also about what you help others accomplish. In the video, Michael Chandler spoke from the heart. He began by saying, "My man Ben, hey, it's Michael Chandler." And from there, it was nothing short of emotional. Chandler reflected on a deeply personal moment in his life, receiving his All-American plaque from his parents. He said, "It is no coincidence that I just had my mom and dad bring my All-American plaque home this past weekend. They've had it since I All-Americaned in 2009. It's been at their house and they just brought it back to me so I can display it." He then paused and delivered a powerful message. Chandler continued, "I just want to let you know that I hope you know that the main reason why I have this, the main reason why I became an All-American, the reason why some little guy from High Ridge, Missouri, who did not believe in himself, did not think he deserved to stand on that podium, the main reason is you." That statement hit hard. Chandler openly admitted that Ben Askren was the source of his motivation, the role model who changed his life and inspired him to achieve greatness when he didn't even believe it was possible. That's a rare and genuine kind of gratitude, one that speaks louder than any belt or trophy ever could. He went on to say his name is Ben Askren. I love you so freaking much, man. I look up to you. I admire you. I'm fighting with you. I am praying for you. Chandler's words weren't just supportive, they were filled with deep emotion and unwavering loyalty. You've got so many people who love you, man, he said, pausing to let that sink in. Keep on fighting, keep on fighting. And with that, he closed the message with an uplifting final note. We love you, Ben. God bless. I'll see you at the top. This wasn't just a tribute from one fighter to another, it was a reminder that the MMA world, as intense and competitive as it can be, is also filled with real human connections, deep admiration, and bonds that extend far beyond the cage. Daniel Cormier just delivered a much-needed update on Khamzat Chimaev ahead of UFC 319, and honestly, it's pure relief for fans who have been on edge. Just a few weeks ago, there were swirling rumors that Khamzat was injured and might actually have to pull out of his scheduled championship fight with Dricus Du Plessis. That talk created real panic in the MMA community. People were genuinely worried the entire event might lose one of its biggest attractions, especially given how much hype has been building around this matchup. But now DC is stepping in to calm those fears. On a recent show, he dropped details that gave him full confidence Khamzat is good to go. Cormier shared that he actually saw Khamzat training in Los Angeles with none other than Coach Sam, one of the most respected coaches in the game when it comes to conditioning, cardio, and comprehensive fight prep. According to DC, if Khamzat is working with this coach, it's the ultimate sign that he's locked in and fully ready to fight. No more guessing, no more worry about whether he's hurt or might pull out at the last minute. Cormier made it clear that Khamzat is back on track, and UFC 319 is still shaping up to be one of the absolute biggest fights of the year. And why wouldn't it be? If Khamzat goes out there and gets it done, the UFC will have not one, but two massive superstars leading the charge in Khamzat and Ilia Topuria. Both undefeated, both explosive, both with that rare mix of highlight reel finishes and global appeal that makes them box office gold. Fans are hungry for these kinds of personalities and matchups, but DC was also quick to remind everyone that you cannot, under any circumstances, overlook the champion Dricus Du Plessis. The man is on an insane win streak and is determined to shut Boers down once and for all. Cormier spelled it out in his own words. He said not even a month ago, there were rumors that Khamzat was injured, that he wasn't going to be in Chicago. Guess what? He's going to Chicago. I saw him training with Coach Cal in the garage down in Los Angeles. If you're training with that man, there is nothing wrong with you. The way that he pushes his athletes, the way that he works them to exhaustion, the way that he really tests you mentally and physically, that means you cannot be injured. Tuck. DC went further, adding, and if Khamzat were to have any issue with Dricus, as we saw in his fights with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, it would be the longer fight and the cardio. There's one guy who can get him ready for that, and it's Coach Cal. It seems like he's doing all the right things. But Cormier also finished with a warning to fans and analysts alike. Hold on a minute, you do not look past DDP. Time and time again, people want to disrespect this young man. He is a dominant champion, and he fully intends to get the job done again at UFC 319 in Chicago. Finally, Daniel Cormier shared why he genuinely believes the UFC White House card will actually happen, despite so many people saying it's just a pipe dream, or that it would never work. He broke it down in detail, explaining that this isn't just some throwaway idea or casual fantasy that Dana White mentioned once and forgot about. DC pointed out that Dana's words on this topic have been very specific and deliberate, and that's exactly why fans should take it seriously. Cormier recalled, Dana White said the last thing Dana said was, Kyle was asking him what would be his dream card, and he said Jones versus Aspinall, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. He thought that would be the perfect one. The guy started talking about this, and Dana goes, the UFC landscape will have changed by then. We got a whole year. DC emphasized that this comment was important. It wasn't Dana just spitballing or giving a politician-style non-answer. It was intentional. DC explained, hey, initially we thought this was just a thought. It's not a thought. When Dana starts saying stuff that definitive, like the landscape will change by next year, that means something. We have a whole year. This isn't just a throwaway idea. The White House card is happening. Cormier said he's watched how these things unfold before inside the UFC. He gave a clear example that really proves his point. He talked about the Sphere in Las Vegas and how that plan went from dream to reality. This fight card is not, well, maybe we'll go to the White House. No, it's happening. They're going to the White House. I've heard these conversations publicly, and every time that idea starts to turn into something real, the wheels are in motion. This is how the Sphere started. Exactly how the Sphere started. Cormier continued, it was a thought. we're gonna go to the Sphere. We want to try to go to the Sphere. Then it was like, we're a year from the Sphere. There's time. We can figure it out. Then all of a sudden, we're at the Sphere. That is how it happens. He pointed out that the UFC isn't the kind of organization that just tosses out big ideas and walks away. When Dana says there's time to plan and the landscape will change, they make moves to ensure that happens. DC said with a laugh, "So in my opinion, I'm planning to go to the White House next year, guys." DC is going to the White House to watch a UFC fight. It's happening. He admitted it might seem impossible to some people right now, but that's exactly the kind of challenge Dana White loves. Cormier closed by saying, "I know things seem impossible at times, but with this group of people, Donald Trump, the president, saying it, and then Dana White saying what he said, we got a year. There's a lot of time to plan, and if there's a person that makes things like this happen, it's Dana White."